There was a period of time, sort of, wasn't there, around sort of 2010s, where there was all this scuzzy indie music, where it was all shoegazery with shit hair and, you know, guitars right up by the nips, you know, and not really knowing how to play it. Do you know what I mean? And here's where I sort of tangent. And
I've never heard guitars by the nips before.
Yeah. No offense to anyone that does, because it's literally better for your technique than having it as low as I do. So I'm the stupid one here.
I think if we're gonna go into like the sonics of guitar specifically, you have a rock band. You're thinking like freaking like To the Book, overdrive or distortion sounds, and like, you know, big sounding drums or whatever. And then you go indie rock, and you're thinking more of like, it's like a cleaner. It is a cleaner sound for the most part, I think. I feel like, I don't know, two albums that come to my head when I think indie rock is the Wombats' first album and Arctic Monkeys' first album. That's kind of the image I think of when I think of the term indie rock. Not necessarily because I think those bands are defined to indie rock. I just think those albums sound indie rock.
Yeah.
Because I don't think here's me just like labeling Wombats indie pop and stuff. I don't think indie pop is a genre, indie rock is a genre. I think it's more of a vibe that comes off of the sound.
This is why I think it's so interesting that they were so popular around the time of like acid house and like 90s raves becoming a thing. Yeah. Because taking like, you know, you tie it in with like drugs and stuff, like, or drug culture. Ecstasy at that point was becoming like the drug that everyone in the UK did, and then you went out to a field and just raved for hours and hours and hours and hours, and, you know, didn't go home till like 3 days later. They tapped into that kind of feeling that was going through the country at that point, and consciously or unconsciously wrote songs that have this real psychedelic feel to them, and it almost throws back to like the 60s and, like, you know,
absolutely no idea what they're saying, but like it's really cool just listening to a song being like, I have no idea what they're saying. They could be telling me that like the ingredient list off like a Walker's pack of crisps, but this sounds like great. Like this song is like amazing. You can just sit there and go, I have no idea what he's talking about, but Icelandic is so pretty.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The closest language to Old Norse.
Oh, see, I don't know many Icelandic bands. I know of Mice and Men, and I know of Kaleo. I don't know any others.
I couldn't say I did as well, but I follow a playlist that is just called like
your Nordic one,
Viking folk.
Oh yes,
or something like that, and like I don't know a word of what is being said at all.
No.
I try and meditate. Do you meditate? Do you give that a go?
Every now and then I would. Sometimes I do. But I get the urge to do it at like the most awkward time of the day. Like if I'm just in bed and I'm like, I want to meditate now. So it could be like 2 a.m. and then I do some meditation, just sit on the floor and just be like, get some headspace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. It's dead tough meditation, because I think, you know, it feels like, oh, this is meant to be that thing that's magic, right? And then you sit and do it, and you go, this isn't magic, I'm just sat here, I'm just sat here. But if you can get to grips with doing just a few minutes, and just if you're dead manic from like smashing stuff all over social media, and then you switch everything off and close your eyes and focus on your breath and the noise of the birds or whatever for 10 minutes, it's worth it. It's worth it. Feels worth it.
Because it's such a slow burn.
There's so much I could say, but I think I'm becoming a little bit flustered, because how can you describe genius without using too much hyperbole? You can't. You really can't. And she is a genius, and so is Phineas. They're both absolute geniuses, and I wish them every single success.
He does have that silky smooth. Yeah, it is like a warm hug, his voice. It's like an imprint on a snowy day. It is the candle in the dark.
Just bucking music, that is.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But you're right, it stands out, and it does. And I think especially with like string, like violins and stuff, because they don't have like frets like guitar does, and it's all completely based on like the angle of your finger and everything. I don't know how they do it, in all honesty. Like I tried playing my violinist violin, and I was like, nope.
I remember back in school, one of my mates played. I think it was a viola. It was a viola. And the only thing just that I reckon I could play is probably "Smoke on the Water," just because it's similar. Like it's just, I know it's roughly gonna be around here.
That's life, and then you die, and it's fine, and no one cares. So there you go.